right, let's hit up some Brittles. Get some topics covered. I'm going to hit up Vecnas today. Fluffy Roddy. We're going to tackle that laundry list one by one. Skibbity-doo. Got it. Vecna9, topics for you to talk about. Starting a DACA Booms community Discord. That sounds awesome as long as it isn't a lot of work. Does it take anything more than me just, like, setting it up and then we can all, like, go there and post stuff? Check this out. Climbing the evil corporate ladder once again. DACA Booms finds himself on the wrong side of corporate greed. So yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And before I forget, I saw your trade, as it were, because Vecna deals in secrets, of like putting the top 10s into a playlist on its own. I think that's a really good idea. So thank you for that. Crossbow isn't going to do me any favors here. Let's see here. Let me just pull that up. How the oh my god, that's crazy to me, dude. How did I miss that? I can't wait to see that one again. 2, how your time travel mission could be interpreted as a metaphor about the role of stoicism in the modern existential crisis. Damn, dude. Well, look at you, Mr. Cerebral. Well, don't know what you're talking about, but if I did, I would say that you are more insightful than I previously thought, and I already thought you guys were pretty smart. Wow, yeah, just you look right up and you get stabbed by it. It's unbelievable. In regards to that, I think it's a pretty interesting connection you've made, and I would say that if I knew what you were talking about, I would say that probably 2 of my favorite Stoics were, well, probably Epictetus. He was pretty cool. He had a really good saying, the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. And that it was like skillful sailors or skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. I always like that. Actually, I suppose that's on theme, right? And Marcus Aurelius had some really, really good ones. But I don't think... Was Epictetus the one who... He wasn't the one who started Stoicism, right? Or that kind of philosophy? Was that... I think that was a Z name. And I don't remember. If I knew what you were talking about. Zeno. I think it's Zeno, right? Yeah, I mean... That sounds right if I had to guess about whatever it is you're talking about. And if I could... Uno reverse. Are you someone who considers yourself a stoic? And if not, what is... Fuck, man. I'm getting hard outplayed. This is really... You know what? This is exactly what Vecna wants. I would say, Vecna, for someone who traffics in secrets, you certainly tip your hand a lot, my friend. And I think you're giving me more information than you should. I'm learning more and more about you with each time you post or comment on something. As you learn about me playing this game, I'm slowly building a dossier on all of you. What do you think he's soft? Oh, yeah, probably legs, right? I like how this one goes back and forth. It's creepy. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's cool. Excuse me? Damn. Dodge King. Yeah, I'd be curious about what particular, if you have one, philosophy you yourself live by. You said you're a veteran. Again, see how I slowly absorb secrets myself? You are not the only one. Did I just fall into there? That was it? I really thought it was more than that. No, there's something here, right? This is dastardly. Wow, a hidden assassin there. Was it here? That's unreal. Something about the 3 makes you think it's not a big deal. But yeah, I think you mentioned you were a vet. And the fact that you also... Oh, oh, wow. Pit of shame and everything. That is a lot of budget for that, too, but kind of makes sense. And I'm losing my train. Man, I lost my double jump there, and I really was worried. And also, what are you doing? But yeah, that's... I'd be curious about that. I have many vet friends, and I spoke with many vets when I was a paramedic. Which I think, oh, there's a bolt down there for that. So you have a... Wow, 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 wow. Okay. Just want that bolt. That's all I want. What to name your community Discord is number 3. Yeah, that is a good question. I don't know. The new Expedition game mode announced by the devs. Is that just the roadmap? Because I thought that's all that was. If it's more than that, then I guess I got to do a little more research. I don't, I'm not following him. Okay, he's got more, huh? That's probably to lose the bolt, right? This is a really advanced builder. I'm really curious about the level on this dude. It's got some sneaky snake stuff going on. It's good. It's real good. When will you be launching your community Discord channel? I will have to look into that, but I think I'm going to. Just because I do think it's a good idea. Did I already mention that you suggested a top 10 playlist? If I didn't, I will do that. And let's see how the expedition enhancement rewards might dramatically impact the balance between raiding and building. I don't know about the enhancements, so I guess I thought all that was coming of the... Okay. Here's my thought. I blew all them up. I think we're chilling now. Let's get that XP, though, while we're here. Is that, like, random modifiers to things? Because if so, that's awesome, and it gives you something to do. I also think the roadmap is something that's completely worthwhile, because while I am, after I hit master, I start doing, like, the speed runs, or I attempt or use blades, because I'm like, I want to change it up, but I want to get to masters and not, like, I just want to get it done. But for other people who aren't, creating their own challenges and having fun, while hitting these bases and having, interactions with others, you do need some kind of incentive to keep them going. Let's see. Who should join your community Discord channel? Well, that is easy. That's anyone who does not give a fuck and enjoys the absurd, I think. And also is just creative. I think that's the 3 criteria, right? You need to be not artistic, creative, absurd, and funny, I think. That's it. Brave and sexy. And you have to have a nice smile, too. As long as you have all 6 of those things or 5 of those things, and like big hands. Yeah, 7. If you have all of those criteria met, though, you should join my Discord. What? All right. What's the next one? Wait, I want to... Yeah, this one looks like it exploded. Whatever. You mentioned telling stories about working in dangerous places. I did briefly. I've mentioned that I was a first responder for a time. For 5 years. Actually, for 5 years, I was in EMS, but 3 years I was in EMT, which is basic life support. They do BLS, and that's, you can put an oxygen mask on. You can, I think, help someone use their own EpiPen, but you can't do it yourself. And obviously, you can administer CPR. Generally speaking, that's for the less, traumatic injuries. And then for 2 years of the 5, I was a paramedic. I shouldn't be that detailed. I just realized. So I'll try and be more vague. And paramedics are a little more schooling after EMTs, and after that, you learn a little pharmacology dosages, and you can start lines and push, the drugs that are necessary for the patients you're seeing. Uh, you can give pain meds, under. Um, I don't know if that one falls under the SMOs, which is standing medical orders, but basically as a paramedic, and I think as an EMT. Okay. Let's find out where this goes, so we'll come back. Got it. You work as an extension of a doctor, so you get your license, and you basically function as like a hand of that doctor, and he has SMOs, or the state has SMOs that you follow, given certain. This really. Uh, and yeah, I had to engage. It sucks to lose that bolt, man, but I had to engage. So I belong to a company who serviced two areas. One was an affluent, the affluent suburbs, and the other was covered. Uh, man, if you miss, you're screwed. Dang it. Played that so poorly. I'm really mad at myself. Sorry. Um, so I belong to the latter. I work down in the city. I work 24s. So I think I work two 24s a week, and then I get 48 off. Um, they were supposed to supply you quarters. They technically had quarters down there, but I never slept in it once in the 5 years I worked there, and that was just to, well, whatever. I won't get into that, but things people say stuff and then do other stuff. It's no different in any other company. So I was down in some of the neighborhoods, a lot of impoverished people. People, sometimes keeping their apartments warm with the oven range on full blast. And where there's poverty, obviously there's crime and gangs, and you have to deal with them and them shooting each other and attacking each other, and territorial disputes about where you can sell certain things. It's all pretty commonplace. um I had, my ambulance was shot at. I've had probably, I think, about four guns pulled on me, two of which were aimed at me to just like drop to the side for like intimidation. I was flipped a lot, which is a term around here, which means that was nice. If someone's trying to, I guess, show you they have something as a threat, what they'll do is they'll flip their shirt up, kind of show you the gun tucked in the waistband. That was pretty commonplace. I think that's the same damn assassin, man. Definitely crossbow though, God. Or I guess boom would work too. So yeah, I had to my cot stolen one time out of the back of the rig, and we were dropping somebody off, I think back at home. That might have been when I was an EMT, actually, before paramedic. But I was working with a newbie, and we dropped this guy off, took him in on O2, and looked out the bay window, and there were like four dudes like grabbing the cot and just riding it down the street. And my partner's like, "We gotta get it back." I'm like, you can go if you want. You're not getting it back. What are you gonna do? Like, realistically, you're outnumbered. This is their neighborhood. Like, what are you gonna do? And well, we can't just leave it. Yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. That is the play. You're gonna learn real quick. To pick your fights, and fight you will. We had lots of, along with unfortunately poverty, comes a lot of mental illness and depression. Hell, let's be honest, depression hits every single place, no matter where you go. So a lot of psych patients, a lot of people I would see were pretty much at the end of doing okay, because here in the United States, our medical system is a fucking joke. And I mean that 1000% as someone who worked in it. It's a fucking joke and an embarrassment, and it causes people to not get the help they need. because it'll bankrupt them. So what you'll have is a lot of people hesitating to take their kids in or take an ambulance trip. I think BLS trips. So if you just got like O2, I think it was like 2 grand. And I think if I started a line on you and administered ALS care, turned it into an ALS call, I wasn't sure about that. Okay, now I got to back up. I want to say it was like 4,500 to 5 grand. It's just crazy. And if you don't have insurance, hey, so you can kind of see why people, a lot of times I would get refusals. They'd have to sign and be like, I don't want to go. You'd have to tell them as part of your, this is going to be a rough one. This is going to be tough. This is a lot of stuff here, man. Dang, this is not good. Can get that. I don't want to engage any of these. These are first and foremost. So it costs a lot. And so if someone was calling you, they were in a pretty bad place. And a lot of times it meant that you were going to be doing a lot of work because it's not like preventative care, obviously. And it's not like small stuff generally. It's like, I definitely don't think I can make it anymore on my own. So can you come help? Which, puts people in a heightened state. And yeah, so I got to hit that too. Shoot. So you get people, cops, you work alongside a lot because they have to secure scenes and, they might ride alongside you and it's easier for EMS because generally speaking, they're wanted in that moment. Where cops, I think, see people at their most aggressive and angry. I think paramedics tend to see people at their most vulnerable and sad. And, so you couple all those emotions with the cost and the stress and the violence. A lot of times you're there because someone was violent to someone else. Orby. Cool. So you catch people in states where they're not thinking clearly. And as a result of that, you will be in dangerous situations at times. And hopefully you have a partner who's well-rounded and not an escalator. I've had those. Those are a bummer. I've had very timid people who don't do anything at all, and they don't last very long. And so really what you need is kind of just a well-rounded person. Unsurprising. You know what? That probably applies to literally every job in every scenario. Let's be real. Outside of some niche ones. I don't like... I'm going to have to, like, disengage fast as hell. All right, that was cool. So yeah, I would take sometimes gangbangers and sometimes vets who are going in for psych evals. Sometimes just your, normal everyday person. Sometimes a lot of ODs and, people who are addicted to various things. But I did take a lot of vets. As an EMT, I would say that was a large portion of, stuff was picking them up. And I had some rough calls with a couple of them that ended up, I think, being my fault. I'll give you one because I was picking up, I went to a call for a psych eval for a gentleman who was having some, I refer to terminating as cashing out, so you can apply that here. And this gentleman was having those ideations. He was kind of struggling, having some thoughts about setting fire to his mom's car. And we came and got him. Oh, okay. That was weird. Okay. Where is the... Where am... Okay. That was wild. Speaking of fire, so He was, he wanted to... That one's an Orby. Got it. Really cool dude. But he was having a tough time. And, I had him in the back, and he was pretty tense. He, shoulders, body language was, I'm stressed out. Understandable, given, the reason for us being there. And, I always was kind of fascinated by a lot of the stories the vets had. Always got along with them. Very good friend of mine is... Don't quite make it, huh? That was weird that those didn't come out at all. And in that particular circumstance, I thought the rapport was there and misjudged it. And in talking about, going to the VA, and he kind of started reminiscing, he kind of went back too far, and the shoulders dropped, and I was like, shit, because that's a mental state change. When kind of those posturings happen, you just, you try and start looking out for them. And I tried to get away. I was sitting on the bench next to him. I didn't sit in the captain's chair often because I didn't want people to feel like they were captive, and typically that put them more at ease. And he just kind of flashbacked a little bit. Okay, so this just connects. And, I tried to break off from the conversation, but it's too late. He was on me, and he wasn't there, his normal self, I suppose. And so my partner had to pull over. We had to get him secured, soft restraints. But, when he came back, he was kind of like, who did I hurt? Is everyone okay? And I'm like, you're fine, man. I fucked up. I pushed, too far, and that was my bad. It's not your fault at all. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you're good. It was not your fault. I know better than that. I just misread it a little bit. I thought he was, he was kind of more at ease than I thought, and that was not the case. And so he was already in a troubled state. I was trying to keep his mind occupied, and it just accidentally wandered to a place it shouldn't have. And so he kind of reacted to that, and the poor guy was so apologetic because it wasn't his fault. I mean, it really wasn't. And when we got there, I'm like, hey, we're just going to write this down as we're here for the original thoughts of, cashing out ideations, and that you're feeling kind of like you want to react outward with your, your family member's car. I'm thinking we leave out the part with, whatever. And he's like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm like, well, I don't want you to get in trouble more than you need to. I mean, it's already hard, and I don't want you... At the same time, I guess thinking about it now, I didn't do the right thing by suggesting that, because if he is in that state, he needs help, and he should be... I just didn't want to get him in trouble. I was a younger kid, so I wasn't thinking like that, I just was like, hey, this is my fault. I'm about to take responsibility. So when we got there, I was like, this is what he's here for. And he's like, hey, I attacked this man. I'm like, damn it, dude. And, I was like, I'm trying to help you out. And he's like, I attacked him. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, I'm fine. The doc's like, do you need to get checked out? I'm like, I'm good. He definitely was, he definitely, cool, wanted... Not him, but in that moment, he was trying to accomplish something. And, thankfully, me and my partner were on pretty, we knew when shit was kind of weird, and we were, radio would be down for certain types. And so he was on it, and there were several times where the same happened to him. We were both pretty good. But he felt terrible. I felt terrible because I was like, just shut your fucking mouth, Joe. But he was an interesting guy, and I'm a sucker for his story, and he had good ones, and I just accidentally, I think, veered him into a camp that he wasn't supposed to be in. So take full responsibility for that one. Hopefully he's good to go. But yeah, it was just, it was dangerous where I went. It was dangerous who I dealt with, and it's just a harder area to live in. They make do with less, and Priorities are different sometimes because when you're thinking about survival, it's hard to think about some other things. And so that's not, it's not everybody. There's a lot of, people are people no matter where you go. I mean, you probably know that. You said you served, so like you get guys from all over, coming in and in the military. You got some good dudes, you got some bad dudes, you got some smart dudes, you got some fucking idiots, and I'm mostly referring to like my own partners at times. I had some fucking doozies, let me tell you, like people who should not be in any kind of position of responsibility. Um, but, they got by somehow. Thankfully, that wasn't the case with paramedics. Like once I got the paramedic was a good filter for a lot of types, but EMTs, oh my god, some of those guys, holy shit, were they fucking they just went into it for the wrong reasons, I think. Majority of the people I worked with were like, hey, I just liked I think one it'd be exciting. I think I'd be all right at it, and I think I could help people out. And I think that was true for most people, but it's taxing. Like I said, you see people at their worst. Oh, yeah. Oh, if that had been homing and this, yeah, that would have been a doozy. It's kind of cool, though. Can I shoot all these guys? Oh, yeah. Is that another one? No, that one is. This man should definitely opaque these blocks. Look at all this budget just disappearing before his eyes. Don't pit or shame me. How dare you? Yeah, that's a brutal one for that. So yeah, I was gonna say the sides of the city, but I suppose that won't really narrow it down too much. Yeah. But like I said, most of the time people wanted us there. That wasn't an issue. Um, but they were normally in a pretty bad state, where I think other places might call if it's like there's a chance. Man, he's really missing. It sucks that the budget's here and not on these because I really think he could do some work. I do like his little tricksy traps here and there, but it's just a lot of budget that he looks cool too. He decorated really well. All the demonic art, and that looks pretty cool too. I just do this. Cool. But it was fun experience. I liked it for what it was. I would have kept doing it and gone on to a higher excuse me, a higher level. But the way things worked out with how they recruited changed, and it became a lottery. And so it wasn't who you knew anymore. It was, you get entered into a lottery, and I think you get some points for various things, and by the time my points were like added up, that was artistic and fun. I don't know actually, because it was a random lottery. So let's say out of 1,000 people, like getting called up is what we called it. Ooh, look at me. So it's the chevrons here. Let's say out of 1,000, I got like 880, and that meant I'd be waiting a long, long time. And when I got my number, my partner, who hadn't been on the streets at all, he was brand new. He had gone through EMT school and went right into paramedic school without any street experience. So this guy was like basically an EMT being trained by me, a paramedic. And man, that was that rough. Really nice guy, but didn't know shit. And oh my God, he would say things at the worst times. God, Jesus Christ, just remembering it. We'd be in places and he'd be acting too friendly. He'd be acting like we were in the suburbs, and people would get really offended because he was like intruding on their privacy a little bit. Like by smiling and being like, hey, how are you? People be like, who the fuck are you, dude? And I'd be like, just shut up, dude. Like, don't do that. But that guy got 15 on the list. So I got 880. I was on the streets for 5 years. This guy is fresh out of school, doesn't know a thing, hasn't started a line on a person in the back of an ambulance, and he's going to get called up in the next batch. And I'm like, that hurts. At this time, too, I was dating my now wife, and, you know, in paramedic school already, there was a high dropout rate, a high fail rate. And at the beginning of us, oh, shit. Okay. At the beginning of the paramedic program, our instructor was like, listen, if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, you might as well cancel it now because there's like a 0% chance it's going to work for you. Um, I don't remember what she said it was, but I know that she gave a number and she's like, I'm just telling you. And so I was dating my now wife and I was like, hey, you know, this is kind of it. Like, this is what the expectation is. So, you know, if you're not cool with it, don't worry about it. Just let me know now. And I don't know if it's a good idea for even us to even try because it's like, you know, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Of course I didn't want to, but like at the same time, like I can't argue with stats. So I was like, is this something? And she was like, I'm fine with it, you know? And other people said the same thing. And sadly, all of the people in my graduating class, I want to say it started with, I don't want to give a number. I know a lot of people dropped out, and I know a ton of people did end up breaking up with their significant others because, you know, clinical times, you got to do so many out. It's a lot, man. I don't know what it is now, but if you want to be a paramedic, it's a lot of clinical hours. And you got to do a lot of stuff. You have to scratch. It's not just serving, like in the ER or the neonate ward, or you got to do stuff like you got to crike, not crike. I don't think you had to crike people. Cricoid maneuver is where you kind of open up the cartilage in the throat for like blockages to kind of force an airway or create a new airway. But you did have to intubate people, which is you have this kind of hook instrument. And did that blast all those guys with the bombs? Yeah, I think I have to do that. You have to get a lot of stuff done. You have to like witness if it's allowed, you know, a birth. And that was always tricky because people would be like, yeah, it's cool. But then the moment would come and maybe the husband was uncomfortable, which is totally understandable. Or she'd change her mind. And you'd be like, shit, like I needed to cross that off, you know, like at that point I was like, I'm not, listen, lady, I don't care. I'm just trying to get this done because, you know, time's running out. So there were just a lot of hoops to go through. But Bridge and I were one of, I think, maybe two in the entire group that stayed together with their significant others because it was rough. Like, I wonder if we hadn't had that talk, you know, if that would have gone the same way. Now I wish I had oh, shit. Well, okay. That's interesting. I got off topic. Okay. So let me think here. Probably work on a side, maybe? Oh, shit. That almost bounced it at me. Did you see that? That was wild. And I go and get these. What? Oh, my God. There's a flame there. Oh, my God. I didn't get that. That is embarrassing. Straight up. I'm just straight up embarrassed by that. No way around it. So yeah, you know, I got a bad lottery number, and that kind of changed the trajectory of my life because I had plans for how I wanted to do things at a certain time, and I didn't have the time to do that like I thought. 880 out of 1,000 is like pretty fucking terrible. So it pretty much stopped me dead in my tracks for continuing. I couldn't do the job I was kind of keeping in the meantime because it was draining me out. Not in like a, you know, when you're down in the city without support, you know, one of two things typically happens, and it's pretty much two options only, and that's you either get really sad or you get really fucking mad. And I got mad. I was just getting ticked, you know, because you start getting calls from people who are like, You know, like a guy had a heart attack and he's like, "Can I bring my N64 with?" And you're like, "Dude, you're dying, man. Like, we gotta go." And he's like, "I can't go without it. You know, I gotta bring it. Someone's gonna steal it here or something." Because they'd be at like a nursing home, and you're like, "This is not what I signed up for. This is rough," you know. And you start getting resentful, and it sneaks in on you. You don't even realize it's happening, or you get really sad. You know, I had many partners throughout the years, and they either moved on to other things, or you know, in one case, one of them cashed out um, early. That sucked because I worked with him. He was a really good dude, and I think it just all got to him. You know, we had bad calls and shit that was outside of his control that I think he blamed himself for. I'm gonna make this a long one because fuck it. I'm going into Shibitos. I won't. I shouldn't have brought that up, but it's worth mentioning just because it's the truth, and I value that, and I don't think you should hide shit if it is the truth. And that's what that job does to you. You know, if you're not supported, I mean, what I don't even remember. I remember them being like on top of the, you know, you're gonna probably not. It's not gonna work out with your spouse. Is this the old one? I remember you. I think maybe it's fun to go back through this. Oh yeah. I, what have I done? I don't know. Oh, Harvey, are you gonna survive that? Oh shit! You put assassins in here. Well, oh my god, it's way more terrifying. This is gonna be a long ass video, but it's cool. Thank you for showing up. Um, damn, man, Shibito is just up in his game, ain't he? Sup, friend? Oh, you're wasting my... Dang it. Oh, and I fired a... yeah, you know, it was the right call. I never... You know, I put a lot of time into pursuing that particular profession. And so having to kind of back off of that was a choice, certainly. And I don't really miss it that much. I miss the excitement a little bit because, you know, that's just how I be, I guess. But I don't miss all the kind of the dark shit that's associated with it and how it wears on you and how you take things with you. And, you know, I got to kind of reset where I think a lot of my partners did not. Some of them are still working, you know, doing that kind of stuff. And it's just, it takes a piece of you. And, you know, in the case of one of them, you know, he's no longer here because it just was a little too much. And I totally understand it. I don't even like hate on him or hate on anyone. But it's because I think in some ways he wasn't supported the way he needs to. And, you know, lo and behold, after that happened, there was a big uproar about mental health. And, you know, we got to get these guys who experience the worst of what's going on in a person's life daily, sometimes 12 times a day. I had 20 calls in a 24... Was it 20? I think it was 20 or 21. In a 24-hour period. It was just like, oh my... We were just running on empty, man. And, you know, it wears you down. Sleep. You're not getting a lot of sleep. You're waking up in the middle of the night for calls. You know, you're literally listening for your number. You know, I swear to God, I'm not even making this up. A lot of times I had the ambulance that was 69, and that was before the whole nice, you know. But it wasn't like you had a dedicated one. Sometimes it was 71, sometimes it was whatever. But like you'd have to listen for that while you were sleeping. Like so you'd have a partner up front, and you'd be in the back, or you know you switch it up, and then you know 69 calling 69 or something, and you'd be like, "Is that us?" You know, and then you just wake up and have to do an ALS call. Like get in there for an emergency, and it's just it fucks you up, man. I was younger, so it was like not a yeah, I remember you. So it was easier to bounce back, but I'm thinking like now I'm like, oh my god, how the fuck. But so yeah, I was I was heavily stationed in very, very bad areas, and you just adjust like, you know, anything else, I guess. That's a nice bomb. I gotta shoot him out. No way I'm keeping him alive. No way, friend. Damn it, in your armor. Those things have paid for themselves all over again. Shibito. I gotta make this one count. Oh my god, I can't. I'll try this time. As all my stuff, like, disappears into nothingness. Aim higher than you were. Yeah. I think I had to stay just to engage. I'm gonna do... I gotta remember there's something else here, yeah. But, you know, like, outside of, like, fighting and, you know, you'd have to fight psych patients sometimes. I never, like... I don't think there was ever, like, a... Right, you. Oh, thread the needle! Oh my god, I almost had it. Oh, it was him. I did thread the needle. It was this guy who shot me. Damn. Well, I feel better about that. I really thought I threaded that. Man, he's hiding back there, too. I can't even... Damn. Yeah, you know, it's like anything with high stress. Luckily, I did okay. I tend to do all right when stress is around. In some cases, I think I perform better, which is weird. Maybe that just has to do with that whole dopamine thing. If I'm operating at a lower supply and I get a little bit, I'm kind of equalized. So sometimes those emergencies actually put me in like the right frame of mind. I certainly know I've had partners that did not, you know, that would exacerbate or make things worse just because, I don't know, man. They just, okay, you gotta like 3. Good. And then, oh shit, put this back. But I'm also like, I'm cool with being done with that for a little bit, you know? Shotgun. Oh, nice. Got something there. Can I aim these? Do they blow these up? Or do I ride the... Let's do this. Okay, that's good. Having that is good. I think what I want to do is this. And then... Yeah, there we go. Got to make this one count, though. Okay, cool. And... God damn, look at the amount of lasers in this son of a bitch. It's good to come back to my old haunting grounds. Speaking of dangerous areas that I've frequented, this is one more. Shibito's Nightmare Fuel. And where do we find the link to join your community Discord? Yeah, I'll figure that out. I will at some point. I'll also get that top 10. I think that's a really good idea. Thanks for suggesting that. You know, if there's any questions in which, or topics that you want to talk about and you're comfortable answering yourself, I also have the same interests you do. So if you have interesting stuff, I like learning about that. And, well, I'll be 100% transparent. One is I enjoy learning about people. And 2, I will use it against you 100% with how you build. Damn, I think I did that the first time. There's a spike down here, too. I think I remember that. If there is, I'm going to laugh really hard. Oh, it was flames. Dang. Guess I don't remember it all. As a veteran yourself, I'm sure you frequented much more dangerous areas than I did. Mine were like pretend war zones. You might have actually been in a real one, so. And honestly, like I said, most people wanted me there. I didn't experience a lot of problems. Did I get turned around? Oh, that's new. But you did make me think I was in the wrong room for a second. Yeah, I think it's right here. Okay. Resurrected it. That's awesome. I love that you put assassins in here now. Very nice. But hey, you know, as much as that kind of stuff sucks, go into those rough areas, you get better for it. You know, you either learn to live amongst and with a community, or you know, you find out it's not for you and you leave. So that's how it be. Good topics. I liked your laundry list. I could have probably split them up, but I think sometimes it's better to just go through them. I really liked your number 2, and I really liked your number 8. So thanks for sending those in.